Hi guys, it's Roy from Belados 3D, and in this video I will be creating a low poly palm tree. Okay, in this video I will be using a slightly different method of creating textures for this. I'll be using a color palette on a texture sheet. So first things first, let's create the material. We already have the material. I'm just going to change the name of that to palette. And then I'm going to, before I do anything, quickly switch on my screencast keys. As you can see, my keys and mouse movements will show up on the left hand side there. Okay, now I need to go into the shading editor and click on the BSDF shader, and if I press Control Shift and T, that will bring up the file viewer. And if I search for my textures, videos. Oh no, sorry. B3D videos. Low poly palm. Textures. There we go. Okay, and in there, as you can see, there are three textures. We've got a color texture, which is your base colors, and that's a palette of colors of different shades. And the second one is a metallic, which decides the metallic, and as you see at the bottom down there, all of these colors will be metallic. And again, the third one is a roughness with a 50% roughness value across most of it, which will give the textures a slight sheen, but keep them still a lot flatter. And then at the bottom, the different metal colors roughness will be on here. Okay, so what we do is we will select these and press principal texture setup, and as you can see, it does it for you. It adds it to the shader for you, and this is all part of Node Wrangler. Really great add-on. If you'd like to know more about Node Wrangler, put a comment on this video and I will look into making a video on Node Wrangler. But as you can see, that all the colors are now showing on this cube. So if we go to the UV editing tab, which is the tab that I'll be using the most throughout this, you have the model here on the right and the UV map on the left with our texture. I'm just going to switch into material preview so we can see the colors, and obviously all the colors are on the model, and it's all nicely laid out on the UV map here. But what we want to do is press U and then reset, and if we go over to the shaded the UV tab, if we select everything with the A button, press S to scale and 0 and then enter, and all the UVs are now in this little dot. Now if we press G now and move this around, as you can see all the colors are changing. I'm going to move that to this color here, and as you can see it's all one color. So I'm just going to tidy up the screen a little bit so I have a bit more to see, and I'm going to get rid of the default cube. We don't need the default cube. What we do need is a cylinder, so Shift A, and the screencast keys have turned themselves off now. So I'll press the N button, go back to screencast keys and flick that off and then on again. Okay, there's a little bug with the screencast keys. We'll press Shift A, mesh, cylinder. Now if I go down to the little drop up menu here, I'm going to change that to 8 vertices, and I'm going to get rid of the gap there. Right, so now if I go into edit mode, I can bring it up by 1, and then if I go to edge mode by either clicking this or pressing the 2 button, I can then select this edge loop at the top, and we'll bring it down just a little bit with G and Z. That's about right, and then scale it in just a little bit. I think it needs to come down a little bit more, and that looks about right. Okay, so now what I want to do is to create is to select everything and press Shift and D to duplicate. I'm just going to bring it up above, because what I want to do is I want to turn snapping on, switch it to edge mode, and then bring it back down so it's perfectly in line just there. And then what I want to do is select all of it, Shift D, and repeat the same process. So it brings it down to there, and again Shift D, GZ, and GZ again, and bring it down, and maybe bring it up there. Two more. As you can see, we've got the general trunk of our palm tree. I just want to now add the palette to that, and in here just select the low poly palette on there. I'm going to go into there and I'm going to reset, and I'm going to scale it down and bring it in to 0 and bring it over there to give it some colour. Now what I want to do is I want these joined together, so in edge mode again, select these two loops, press Ctrl E and bridge edge loop, and then again these two, Ctrl E, bridge edge loop. Select this one, Ctrl E, bridge edge loop. Select this one and this one, Ctrl E, bridge edge loop, and you get the idea. Rinse, repeat all the way through. Oops. There we go. And finally, at the top, what I want to do is I'll put it into front orthographic so I can see what I'm doing. I want to press E and right click, and press S to scale out slightly, and then GZ just to bring it up a bit, and then again E to extrude in the Z axis, bring it up, and again the same as that, scale it in, and then on the top I'm going to press F3 and type grid fill, and that should fill that grid in. And then in vertex mode, just bring this little one up just slightly to give it a bit of a roundness on there. So there we have the trunk of our tree. I'm just going to shade that smooth, and then I'm going to go to the Object Data tab, to Normals, and click Auto Smooth, and just bring that up to about 50. And that gives you all the nice smooth normals on the faces with sharp edges. And I'm going to now change the colour underneath here by pressing Alt and clicking the ring of faces, Shift Alt, Shift Alt, Shift Alt, Shift Alt, and then bring it. And then what I will do is I will move this to a darker colour, say about there, just to give it a bit more definition there. And what I think I might do actually is take this in edge mode, take this loop here, press Ctrl B, and just bring it out slightly, just a tiny bit, and that should define the edge a bit more. And then maybe in here, Ctrl R, scroll the mouse wheel up for 2 edge loops, shift click and right click, and then just scale it out, give it a bit more of a shape there. Okay, so we have the trunk of the palm tree. Now what we need to do is, first things first, that's a little bit big, so I'm going to scale that right down. I'm going to bring it down to about there. Let's see how tall that is. Still quite tall, 7 meters. So I'm going to bring that down to about 5 meters, I think. should do it. So it's about 5 meters tall. And then again, remember, Control A, Control A, and select Rotational Scale to clear the scale off, to apply the scale. Now we want to make the leaves. So what I want to do is I'm going to go into top orthographic mode. I'm going to create a plane, Shift A, mesh, plane. Okay, and what we'll do in edit mode, I'm going to scale that down on the y-axis so it's a little bit wider than that. And I think, let me see, a little bit wider on the x-axis, I think. Move that way. Yeah, that looks about right. So we can just move it there. That should be about right. Now what we want to do is we want to shape this like a leaf. So the first things first, I'm going to put a loop down the middle. And I'm going to put, say, nine loops. Well, increase it to 10. No, we'll take it back down to 8, I think. It should be more than enough. And with going to vertex mode with the 1 key, I'm going to select this one and this one. And I'm going to press S and Y. I'm going to bring that right in. Right down there. And then take the middle one, G and X, and just to give it a little bit of shape there. Just bring that back out a little bit. Okay, so now we want this one and this one, and bring that out so it's a bit better there, about there. Now I want to maintain this shape, bring it out slightly, and then start bringing it back in. So that's why I just want to bring it in there, bring it in, and we're just shaping it to the shape of a leaf. Oh, excuse me, bit of a coughing fit there. Looks more like a fish than a leaf right now, but we will bring it in this way and bring it all the way down now. Oops, so it becomes a stalk just about there. I think we're going to widen that up a little bit. And there's your general shape of your leaf. And now that I think about it, I'm just going to bring it to the side a bit. It needs to be a little bit longer, so I'm going to stretch it a bit more. I think that should be about there. Okay. Now what I want to do, if we got the general shape of the leaf, keep tweaking it. There we go. Palm trees have got cuts and pieces out of them, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the K button and I'm going to select the line here, left click, and then to this dot here, left click, and then enter. And I'm going to do the same here, here, enter, and I'm going to do this all the way along so that we have the geometry to delete for the cuts into the leaf. And the final one, I'm going to do it on this side of this one now. And then we can go into face mode with the 3 button. We're going to select each of the faces in these triangles. Oops. In these triangles. And press and faces. As you can see, there's a nice little shape there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into edge mode, select this central row of edges. There, and I'm going to press G and C. I'm going to just bring them down slightly. As you can see, that it needs adjusting there. Go into vertex mode, just bring that down, G and C. I think that's fine. Okay, so we now have the general shape of the leaf. What I want to do, and as you probably know, palm trees, they tend to have leaves that come out and curve all the way down. So what I'm going to do is on this, I'm going to make sure my rotational scale is applied, and I'm going to hide this. Now what I want to do is, in front orthographic mode, I want to press R to rotate on the y-axis 90 degrees to bring it up, and then over on your toolbar here, click the modifier tab, click add modifier and simple deform. Now this does all sorts of weird and wonderful twisty shapes on your mesh, but what I want is bend, and what that does is it bends the shape of your mesh, and I want to do it on the y-axis and Y. Is that not working? Oh, sorry. No, that's not right. On the x-axis. That does not seem to be working at all for some reason. That is not doing what it's supposed to do. Let's have a look, and let's bring that back down to the origin points. The origin points on there. Let's see if that helps at all. No. That does not seem to be doing what it's meant to do. See, that's working. I get it. Okay. Control A, rotational scale. What I've been telling you all along, check your rotational scale. So now, if I do this, it will bend it down like so. So I want it about there. That's it. My bad there. It's again, it's another one of them simple issues which you don't notice until you actually try it. Whenever you scale or rotate in the object mode, always apply your rotation and scale. Otherwise, as you can see, it messes things up. I'm not going to remove this from the video. I'm not going to edit this out because it's a learnable experience. You see there how important it is to actually apply your scale and rotation. So now what I want to do is I want to go back up to add modifier, and I want to add a Solidify Modifier to give it some thickness, and we just bring that up just a few to there. And now I will do the UV reset and S0, and I'll bring it to a nice green. About there should do it. It would help if I actually applied the palette. There we go. And again, the same with this. If we press smooth and then go to the normals and select auto smooth around 50, or maybe a bit. That's it, 50 on there, and gives you a nice smooth normals. Okay, I'm going to press Alt H now to bring back the main trunk of the tree. And I'm going to do the same on the trunk of the tree. I'm just going to make sure the rotation and scale is set. And I'm going to add, again, a simple deform modifier with a bend. I'm going to have it on the y-axis. And I think I'll leave it at 45 degrees and apply that so that it doesn't have to be messed with anymore. And so if I now rotate that down to about there and go to 7, I can now shift D, R to rotate on the z-axis 90 degrees, select them both again, shift D, R to rotate on the z-axis with the Z key 90 degrees, sorry, 180 degrees. I've got my 4 leaves there, but 4's not enough. It looks a bit bare, so I'm going to select them again. I'm going to shift D, duplicate them again, and this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to, if I can see it, press G and Z and bring it up slightly about there, and then RZ 45 degrees, and then with individual origins selected, if you go up to the box up here, I'm just going to scale them down just a slight amount. And now, as you can see, they're all nicely spaced. And what I'll do is I will go through all of these and apply with Control A all modifiers. I don't need any modifiers now. Let's see. So now if I select all of them, I can then combine them using using Control and J to combine them. We'll go into front orthographic mode and then move that up. I can move it up there. I'm just going to rotate that with 5 so that I can see where I am. Just rotate that round to about there, and then you just move it into position. Just move it into position on the top of the palm tree. And there we have it. We have our palm tree all ready and textured. Simple as that. Very easy, very simple, very quick. Okay, if you'd like to, if you like this content and you'd like to see more, then hit the like and subscribe button. And thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time.